Med spas and aesthetic practices, do you ever get to the end of a consultation and it felt like everything went really great? It sounds like the person's super excited, and then they hit you with, I think I need to think about it. Or, you know what, just give me some time. This all sounds really great. I'll get back to you later. Or, you know what, let's revisit this in a month or two when I'm a little bit less busy and I'll make a decision later. Or maybe they say, this all sounds great. I just need to take a look over my budget or my finances, and then I'll make sure to get back to you. And then you and I both know that they never reach back out to you. You never hear from that person again. And then ultimately what ends up happening is you lose a sale, you lose a package sale or a treatment plan sale with someone who could have potentially benefited massively from your treatments. And so in this video, we're going to talk about exactly how to handle the I need to think about it objection, where someone is pushing off the decision. And my name's Josh. I'm the founder of WellnessLeads, and my company collectively takes hundreds of calls every single month with medical spa leads. And so we have kept a pulse on exactly what kinds of objections people are bringing up over the phone, and then also in the in-person consultation. And so we get direct feedback from our clients on the most common objections, and I need to think about it is one of the most common objections that our clients hear. And so I'll talk about how to handle it, and I'll also talk about some strategies that our most successful med spas and clinics use in order to handle this objection and ultimately get the sale. So without further ado, let's just hop right in. I'm going to zoom in so you can see this a little bit better. This objection is often a smokescreen. And so when someone says, I need to think about it, do you really think they're going to go home, they're going to sit down and they're going to, ponder for a while and thinking, here are the pros and here are the cons, and they're going to have like a whiteboard and like a bulletin board with all sorts of strings on it? No, of course not. They're not going to think about it for one more second. They've already made up the decision in their mind. The reason that they're saying this is because they are scared to make a decision. It is much more comfortable for them to stay right where they are right now than it is for them to make a big, potentially a little bit scary decision that could potentially make their life better, right? So the goal when someone says, I need to think about it, I'll get back to you, I'll make a decision later, is to surface what their real objection is so that we can handle that instead. Because truthfully, I need to think about it, I'll get back to you, it means absolutely nothing. It means nothing. But if someone says, oh, honestly, it's just a finance issue, or I need to talk to a spouse or a partner or something like that, that is a problem that we can then solve. And before we dive into exactly how to handle this objection, one thing that I want to note is that great discovery eliminates this objection completely. And so what I mean by discovery is the questions that you ask in the beginning of your consultation. And so if we ask questions to understand their concerns to a deep level, what they've tried in the past that didn't work, what would happen if they didn't address their issues, and also why is now the right time, then they will feel urgency to move forward today. They won't push it off, because if they're like, I have tried a lot of things, none of it worked really well, this issue has been bothering me for so long, I really want to move forward with this today because I have some kind of event coming up, or I've just been dealing with this for so long and my confidence has truly taken a hit, then they're not going to be like, yeah, I guess I'll think about it and get back to you. They're going to be like, yeah, let's do this. Like, I'm super excited. But that all starts with good discovery in the beginning. But the thing is, if you ask great questions and you still get this objection, then we're gonna talk about how to handle it. Now, one more thing before I dive in and explain exactly how to handle this. The other thing that I want to touch on here is that one of the most important things that you can do to set yourself up to handle this objection the way that we recommend is, so in our SPA framework, this is the exact consultation framework that we give to all of our clients. One thing that we recommend is that after you've gone through and you've asked them really good questions that we have in this script here, then you've explained to them exactly what you believe is going to be best for them in order to achieve their results. What we do is we ask what's called a tie-down question, or in other words, we confirm their excitement. So we say, hey, listen, on a scale of 1 to 10, based on everything that I just shared with you, how confident do you feel that this plan is going to help you achieve whatever your goal is? 1 being, we're so far off the mark, 10 being, absolutely, this is exactly what I need. I'm super excited and ready to go. Now, if they say 8 or higher, which most people will, they're going to be like, yeah, this all sounds really great. Then you go, okay, cool. So this sounds like everything you need to achieve XYZ goal. And then they say yes. The reason that this is important is because if we ask this question before we get the I need to think about it objection, then we know that their true objection isn't that they don't feel confident in your plan. Because if someone says, oh yeah, everything that you just told me sounds fantastic, then we know that it's not going to come back up in the end where they're like, honestly, like I just don't know if this treatment is the right treatment for me. And we want to get that out of the way before the I need to think about it objection ever happens. So the first step here is I would recommend incorporating a question like this, such as a temperature check question. Are we on the mark? Are we off the mark? If they say 8 or higher, cool, sounds like everything you need to achieve. Okay, great. Let me show you what I'd recommend for you. And then you can go right into explaining your packages. Now, if someone says 7 or lower, you can go, okay, well, No problem. Tell me what's on your mind. What would you need? What would need to happen in order to make this a 10 for you? And now you can start to uncover or surface exactly what their true objection is before you ever get to the I need to think about it. Now, if you've gotten that out of the way and you've asked really great questions in your discovery that gets to the true understanding of the gap between where they are now, where they want to get, what's held them back from getting there, and why this is really important for them to solve today, then here's how to handle I need to think about it. So if someone says I need to think about it, then you can come back and say, absolutely, makes sense. This is a big decision. I understand wanting to think about it. It sounds like potentially I haven't explained it thoroughly enough. I know how excited you were to make this change. So what are your main concerns? And you see how we can say things like, I know how excited you were to make this change because we asked that temperature check question earlier. And if someone says like, yeah, 9, 10, I'm super excited about this, then we can go back to that past agreement and say, listen, I know how excited you were to make this change. So what are your main concerns, right? So ultimately what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the, I need to think about it and just blow away the smoke and say, okay, what is the true, what is the true concern here? Because ultimately your job as the provider is to help as many individuals as possible who would benefit from your treatments and from your services. And so if you have somebody sitting in front of you who is excited and they really want to move forward with this, but then they say, I need to think about it, likely there's something else going on, and it is your job as a coach, honestly, to help them understand exactly what that main concern is for themselves. Now, the two main objections that you're going to get after this is most likely going to either do with money or with how they make the decision. So what I mean by that is they're probably going to say something like, this is a lot. I need to make sure this makes sense with my budget. I'm not 100% sure. Or I need to talk to my spouse. I need to talk to my partner. There's somebody that I need to talk to before I can make a decision like this. Now, if someone says, honestly, it's a lot of money, or honestly, I don't know if I can pay that much up front. Honestly, I need to take a look at my budget, anything money related, then what you can say is 100%. Absolutely. That makes sense. This is a big commitment. A lot of our clients do typically like to explore all their options or review their budget to see what makes the most sense for them. Just to make sure though, would you say that you're still feeling pretty confident that the plan that we proposed for you is going to help you achieve XYZ goal, and it's just a pricing issue? In other words, if it were free, if we just gave this away to you for free, would you still be excited about moving forward today? And so what we're doing here is we're kind of tying them down again and making sure that we get understanding that the true issue here is not that they don't believe in the plan that you set forth, or that they don't believe in you being able to fulfill for them, and it's truly just a pricing thing. Because a pricing problem is something that we can solve. We can solve a pricing problem. We can't solve a I need to think about it problem, because that really means nothing. So when you say this, 9 times out of 10, people are going to be like, oh yeah, no, I love everything that you said. This sounds like exactly what I need. It's truly just a pricing issue. That's just a lot of money up front, right? Got it. Okay. So what I wouldn't want to happen is I wouldn't want the price to be the reason that you can't achieve your goal today, right? So basically what we're saying here is you have to see yourself as more of a collaborator, or you're working with them rather than against them. And so in this case, if we understand that it is truly a price issue, then we can say, listen, I don't want the reason for you to not achieve these amazing goals that you have in your mind. I don't want that. I don't want the main reason to be because of the price. And so what you can do from there is you can introduce your financing options. So what most people do, and what we've found with a lot of the practices that we work with, is what ends up happening is if somebody says oh, I need to take a look at my budget, or oh, I need to think about it, they then kind of desperately try to introduce their financing options. So they're like, oh, well, wait, before you go, we also have these financing options. Would that make it a little bit easier? And by that point, now you just kind of sound desperate, and it sounds like you're trying to push a sale onto them. So the reason that we need to do this part first, and we need to basically make sure that it is truly just a pricing issue, is because then you're positioning yourself as a problem solver rather than as a sleazy salesperson who's just trying to push a sale on them, right? Because ultimately that's not what you are. But when you just introduce the financing options the way that I just said, where you're desperate and you're trying to catch back up to them, it sounds very desperate, and it just comes off as salesy. And so if we get true confirmation from them that it is truly just a pricing issue, it is just a money problem, then we introduce our financing options. Listen, I don't want money to be the reason you can't move forward with this. I know how excited you are. So here are some financing options, and then you can introduce third-party financing. If you do in-house financing, it really just kind of depends how you have your practice set up. I always recommend third-party, because the great thing about third-party financing is you can get all the cash up front, and it also gives them the flexibility of being able to pay over time without interest. And so after you introduce your financing, then you can go, now, would you prefer to pay the upfront price that we showed before, or would you prefer to pay in interest-free payments? What we don't don't want to do here is we don't want to go, oh, and how do the financing options sound? Does that sound like a better option? Because that is a yes or no question. And we want to basically ask what's called an A/B close question. And this is where we give two options where both options result in them moving forward. And so we say, would you prefer paying upfront or would you prefer interest-free payments? Now they either choose, okay, I'll pay upfront, or okay, the interest-free payments sound good. Now, potentially, if you say this and they say, oh yeah, the interest-free payments sound good, then you can just move right forward. You can say, okay, great. Anything else stopping us from moving forward today? Or another question you could ask is, okay, great. All good if we use the card on file, and then you just move forward with the sale, and then you celebrate their decision. Now, the second question that you might get is if you say, I know how excited you were to make this change, so what would you say are your main concerns right now? The second most common thing that you're going to hear is, honestly, I just need to talk to somebody. Like, I need to talk to my spouse. I need to talk to my partner, my friend, my family, my goldfish, right? Then you go, yeah, absolutely. That's not a problem. Just so I can provide you with the best information possible when you go to have that conversation with that person. What exactly do you need to? What exactly do you feel like you need to discuss with them? Like, is it just the cost, or is it whether you even are like excited about this, whether you even want to move forward at all? And then again, you can see we're doing a very similar thing here. We're trying to get to the root of the issue. It's like, why do you want to talk to that person? Sometimes people just have hard set rules where they're like, I don't make decisions before I talk to my spouse or my partner. And in that case, the best thing for you to do is to just ask them, okay, well, when do you feel like you're going to be able to have that conversation with them? And then try to schedule a follow-up for after that date and have some kind of incentive for them to actually show up for the follow-up, because most people are going to ghost you if there isn't an actual incentive for them to follow up. You could also just do like a phone follow-up with them instead and say, hey, listen, why don't the three of us get on a phone call? We can just chat this through together, and then you could find a time for that so they don't have to actually come back to you in person, just because that creates a little bit more friction. But if it's not the case where someone is like, oh, I never make a decision above $1,000 before I talk to my spouse or partner, and it's they're literally just like kind of pushing off the decision because they're saying like, oh, I need to talk to this person first. Then again, we want to that's more of a smokescreen, and we want to understand what the true issue is. And so here we're asking, is it cost, or is it whether you want to move forward? Like, is it your confidence in the plan, or is it actually the cost? Now, if somebody says it's confidence in the plan, then you can start to unpack that and go, oh, okay, gotcha. Well, what parts of the plan do you feel like don't necessarily fit your goals right now? And then ultimately what that likely means is that when they said that they were excited to move forward, or they said that they were a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10 earlier in the conversation, then likely they were just kind of saying that and they didn't truly mean it. And so then you need to start to unpack that and understand what is their true concern about the plan. And then in that scenario, if it's like, if you determine that, you know, the treatment that they're there for isn't actually the treatment that's going to help them the most, then you could try to get them into other treatments, or you could try to find other solutions based on that. But again, if they say, honestly, it's just the cost, like this is pretty expensive and I need to talk to them first, then what you can do is you can go right into the same financing or the same price objection handle that we talked about before, where you go, okay, got it. Well, listen, I wouldn't want the price to be the main reason you couldn't achieve your goal. Introduce your financing and then say, would you prefer paying upfront or interest-free payments? So same exact thing as before. So ultimately, you can see that the common thread here is that when we get something like, I need to think about it, I'll get back to you, or even when someone says, I need to talk to my spouse or partner first, oftentimes those are smoke screens. That is not what the true meaning is behind what they're saying. And so we need to clear the smoke and then uncover what the true objection is so that we can then become a problem solver for them. Because what you don't want is you don't want people walking out of your clinic with when the true objection was price, when you easily had like a solution for that problem. Like financing is often a solution for that problem. And so we don't want to have people walk out not even knowing that that was a potential solution to their true issue, as one example. So those are really the three most common objections you're going to get in general anyways, is a stall. So like, I need to think about it, money, or decision maker, or like I need to talk to somebody first. And so this goes into a little bit of depth on how to handle the price and the spouse issue. I'll make future videos on exactly how to handle those in more depth as well. But this is specifically about if you get the I need to think about it. So keep in mind, clear the smoke, figure out what the true objection is, and then become a problem solver for the true objection. So I hope this video is helpful. Go ahead and hit subscribe, because I'm going to make more of these objection handle type of videos so that you can get as many package sales and treatment plan sales and membership sales as possible when people come in, and you can ultimately have more impact and help more people by helping them make the decision to move forward. So I hope this video is helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.